Bill, I wanted to get your take because, look, Wall Street and sports, they mix very well together. They intertwine. You go to the Four Seasons restaurant, and they're having lunch together all the time.
It's big business, Betty, as you know. And Roger Goodell gets paid $44 million a year, more than Wall Street CEOs.
Right, so he's very richly compensated. What do you think, how do you think he's handled this so far? Because you talk to a lot of these leaders.
You know, I think part of the problem here is that we're in the phase where the evidence is so clear and defining and hard to, and obviously can't be refuted. The question is whether, when did he know it, and is he covering up when he knew it? If he got this tape when he says, which is on Monday or Tuesday,
right,
then I think he's fine. If they got it, 5 weeks ago or 5 months ago, whatever it was, when the AP says, then he could be in big trouble. It's sort of Nixonian in that sense. The cover-up is worse, could be worse.
Right, it's worse than the actual
crime for Roger Goodell, not for Ray Rice, obviously, but for Roger Goodell, it could be trouble.
And it's interesting because if I try to make the comparisons, I mean, you think about the Wall Street CEOs during the financial crisis and who fell during that time, and you look at Roger Goodell and how he's handling. I mean, these leaders are often not used to being in that kind of spotlight, right? And you saw the ones who fell on Wall Street were the ones who didn't handle that process correctly.
Or their firms failed and they had no choice but to, leave the stage. I think this is a
But then you think about Jamie Dimon, Bill. Like, what about Jamie Dimon? I mean, he was under pressure. Everyone thought he might even go.
And Lloyd
Then he goes down to Washington, and everybody loves him.
Exactly. That's the Congress eating out of the palm of his hand.
Right.
I don't.
Lloyd Blankfein.
I don't think. I mean, this is a very different situation. Obviously,
right.
Not a public company. The NFL is a kind of an old boys club, right? Of very wealthy owners who seem to be standing by him. Bob Kraft, the head of the owner of the New England Patriots, standing by him very publicly. So, I mean, until that turns, I think Roger Goodell is going to be fine because he's making them a lot of money. That's his job. He was not in the elevator, obviously.
Right.
If, in fact, he had this tape earlier and he chose not to look at it or looked at it and didn't register what was on it, that's a big problem for Roger Goodell. I mean, this is a guy who, shuns the media, basically. I mean, I've tried to interview him and he wouldn't be interviewed.
Oh, yeah, we've had numerous requests into him.
So now I think,
even before this.
Right, of course. And so I think that part of the problem is a little Schadenfreude that, that he wouldn't be interviewed in the past. Now he sort of is in a media maelstrom and he could use a little help, but there's not a lot of people trying to help him out at the moment.
I think that goes to this idea that people have said before, which is there's an arrogance within the NFL, right? They've been the richest league in this country.
$9 billion in revenues plus.
Exactly. Everyone wants a piece of their pie, and they kind of feel like, they could dominate that story, that story about them for quite some time. It's a little bit different now. All right. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining us. Bill Cohan, author of House of Cards and contributing editor at Bloomberg.